But you won't realise you're burning out until you're burning out.
You're burning out.
You don't have to be a millionaire. You can earn 100k a year and live an amazing life.
Absolutely, you will get that money back. Money is a never-ending resource. It's always going to flow back to you.
Remember, you're only as good as your last job.
Mm-hmm.
If you then do a shit job with them, then they're not going to use you anymore. How's the journey down today? Anyway?
The journey down was so much better than I thought it was going to be because I was going to drive.
Train was a lot easier.
Train was so much easier. I got work done, got to chill. I got here and you got me a sandwich. It was great.
Got to look after the guests.
Great.
Wow. So, what's up, guys? Welcome to the Eggsplosive Podcast. Thank you for joining in, and for the last few episodes, everyone's been listening. Some of the feedback has been great, and yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I'm really liking where the podcast is starting to go. Now, as I've said, sort of the whole journey is I want to get a wide variety of different guests on, not just from the entertainment industry, but from the arts, anything that I feel sort of may be appropriate to maybe my industry or other industries, or something that you guys might find interesting and might be able to get some value out of. So this week, I have got Lydia from Young, Free and Flying, who's also a motivational coach. Some of you may recognise Lydia. I actually did the interview of Lydia in EVPRO last July 2018, which is crazy.
How quick has that
been? Nearly a year.
That's crazy.
So we had that interview, and then I also uploaded that as a raw clip as well in like one of the launching episodes, which by the time this will go out will be
nearly a year.
Quite crazy. Well, no, as in like since the first episode, like I put your episode, your interview out with the original sort of first batch of episodes with the launch.
Got you.
Which, if people want to know when this is being filmed, was yesterday. So we are filming this the day after I've launched the podcast. So everything's a bit at the minute. I've got another recording with Link tomorrow, which will be good. But yeah, enough about me, enough about the podcast. Let's talk about you.
Oh, I'm nervous. Last time I was in full control. I had the questions. I just had to turn up. The tables have literally turned.
So, what's your name and what do you do?
So, my name is Lydia Killian-Irving. Do you want me to look at the camera or do you want me to look at you?
It's up to you. Let's have a normal discussion with me. But yeah, summarise to what you do. So,
my name is Lydia Killian-Irving. I'm a mindset coach. I am a motivational speaker, and I also own a company called Young, Free and Flying, which is a motivational platform, and I interview guests such as Reese, such as, at the minute we've had Fraser Clark, we've had Chrissy Chella, and we've had Molly May Haig, who are all influencers in their own field. And my main mission in life is to change people's self-image of themselves and the beliefs they hold so that they can live a fantastic lifestyle, but to also get the message of business and entrepreneurship out into the world, because we have never lived in such a better time to do whatever the hell we want to do. And I'm really have to try hard not to swear and say the F word then.
I know if you want to swear on the podcast,
okay, we can just do whatever the fuck we want to do. We're 25 years, I'm 25 years old. I'm in my prime. I can do whatever I want to do. And I want to share that message with the world. So any way I can possibly do that. So I'm content creator, mindset coaching, speaking. That's what I'm doing basically. Okay,
cool. So what is the structure of your day? How does your day or your week sort of go? So, because obviously you can say, you do this, you own that, your motivational thing, but what does it work? Do you have select clients? Is it sort of just an open blog website you run? How does it sort of work?
So it's a little bit of everything. Like my days are never the same. I got asked this last week. Someone was like, "Oh, what's your average day?" And I was like, I don't know. Like this week, I've spent 2 days in Camden. I'm in Essex today. I'm in Birmingham. But to be fair, Birmingham's a rave at the weekend, so it doesn't count. But my days and my weeks are never the same. But typically, I have around 6 one-on-one clients at a time, and they're usually 20-something entrepreneurs who are just doing it. Cool. That's how I describe them. They're just doing it. They're just here to smash it and get to where they want to go. And my coaching helps them get there faster because we break down like the limiting beliefs they have and all the bullshit reasons to why they can't do it. And so we just get them on the right track. Also create the interviews for Young, Free and Flying. So that means getting the guests in and organising those and getting them out there, and creating my own content for my own personal branding. So the Instagram and the website. The Young, Free and Flying website is my whole brand basically, and I put blog posts on there, put the interviews on there, and then I've also got my Instagram. So it's kind of like, just, it's hard to explain. There's just so much going on.
Spider's web of...
Yeah, big spider's web of motivating people as much as I possibly can, basically.
Okay, cool. So would it be, say, if people feel that they're struggling in a certain area, or they want advice, maybe feel that they can't achieve... I'm trying to put myself in other people, but because obviously me and you have spoke before on different stuff, not relating to work, but actually stuff in my personal life.
And mine too. Like we both.
So it was
did
like,
this.
yeah. So I guess it's almost having someone getting an unbiased opinion. Is it in a way? I'm not sure.
Yeah,
it's
coaching is definitely having an unbiased opinion around it, and also coaching is very solution focused. So you hire a coach, and my job is to get you to where you want to be. And because I am unbiased, I can pick out your bullshit. I know when you're kind of playing yourself or sleeping on yourself, and I also can be your biggest cheerleader when you need to be. In terms of my daily content that I put out, I just think it's about creating awareness, because I discovered a book called The Secret when I was 16, which is about the law of attraction and mindset predominantly. And so I've been aware of, oh my God, my positive thoughts can change my life since I was 16. 98% of the world aren't aware of that. And so it's just making it, I want to make mindset as easy as possible for as many people as possible, and especially our generations and the next generations to come. Because a lot of the people in my field are middle-aged, and they kind of attract a middle-aged audience who are all kind of going through a midlife crisis. And I want to get to people before we have a crisis. I'm like, let's just not have the crisis. Let's just leave school, do what we want to do, live our best lives, and do it with a good mindset, feeling healthy, confident, strong, independent. So my aim is to make it as easy as possible for people.
Okay, sweet.
Because I think self-development is kind of like that. Ooh, she's into self-development. It's very common with athletes. It's common with entrepreneurs. It's common in Australia, and it's common in America. In England, it's not that widespread yet. Yeah, and I think it's kind of making it more mainstream.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from there. I think, as you say, although there is, compared to several years ago, a lot more motivational stuff out there, it's still, we're stubborn, aren't we?
Yeah.
Like, Brits, we are
We
stubborn.
won the war, and then that was it. That's it. We're not going to be told what to do after that.
Yeah, it's like we're stubborn to sort of...
change.
Yeah, like, I know a few people who, they want to do X, Y, Z, and it's like, well, just go do it. But they can't seem to get their head around that. It's just, I think people
we're not risk takers.
Yeah, and I think sometimes people get stuck in that routine, and in a weird way, that routine, although they don't like it, it's comfort.
It's comfort. Everything we do as human beings, I'm going to get a bit like sciencey on you, everything we do as human beings serves a purpose. If you are broke, it serves a purpose for you, whether that is it's keeping you in a comfort zone, because then you don't have to really exert yourself enough, and you don't have to, do the brave things that would get you into money. Everything we do as human beings serves a purpose for us. And it's either to move towards pleasure or to move away from pain. And what you do depends upon the associations you have with each thing. So, for example, most people say they want love. Actually, they really don't. They're shit scared of it. So they will do everything to avoid it, because they've associated love with a lot of heartbreak. But actually, the love isn't the painful thing. It's the lack of love that's the painful thing. And again, people do the same with money. They go, money is the root of all evil. So they keep themselves broke, because they think having money will change them. It will turn them into a bad person. Their friends will go. And one, that's not true. There are so many amazing entrepreneurs who are loaded and doing amazing things, nice people. And two, money isn't the root of all evil. Like, lack of money is the painful part of money.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, it's a subject that sometimes comes up, and I've had debates over where people like, money can't buy you happiness. And I think when people say that, that's wrong, because money can buy you happiness.
Definitely.
However, can it cause unhappiness? Yes.
Yes,
but
definitely.
Straight up saying money buys you happiness, I honestly think is wrong, because if you look at people who are stressed, who are like probably 98% of all stresses in life are related financially, whether that's minus, let's say, the other bit for health and relationships, but even still to the relationships could still then be financially.
Definitely.
And it's just, I just think it's one of them things where people are like, money can't buy you happiness. No, like having financial freedom, knowing you haven't got to worry. Yes, you may get bored, or you know, people, you hear stories, people like, yeah, they're money, and then they're not happy. But that might be not happy because they haven't got the friendship structure around them.
Definitely. And I think money in itself is just an energy. It's just this neutral energy, and what we choose to do with it is dependent on the person. But my theory of money and happiness, I mean, I had a debate with my mum a few years ago, and she was like, don't mean this in a mean way, mum, because I know you're going to watch it, but a little bit bitter, like, oh, well, money didn't stop, you know, one of our family members getting cancer. And I was like, yeah, that's absolutely right. Money cannot stop that. But that same year, I watched a family member go through cancer, and I also watched a friend's family member go through cancer. My family member actually had quite good means, you know, she could take time off work, she could, you know, change the filters in her tap so that it was all, you know, everything was filtered water, organic. Whereas the other person I watched go through cancer had to have help by the government. She couldn't take time off work. It was a lot more of a stressful experience. Seeing those two go through the same thing at different times with different money backgrounds was eye-opening for me, because yes, it cannot stop those things happening, but neither can anything else. But it is a necessity in life. And I had a bit of a debate with somebody who messaged me not long ago about this as well. They kind of said, how can you compare money to love? You know, love is a luxury, money is a luxury. Money is a luxury and love is a necessity. And I was like, no, they're absolutely both necessities. As human beings, we you know, we would die
how
if we
we
were
built
babies.
the world, isn't it? Yeah,
We would die as babies if we didn't get love, because that's who looks after us. And also, we would die if no one around us had the money to look after us, because they're both necessities, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I get like both sides of when people say it as well, because I've worked and had like £160 per week to live. And I've also worked like a normal, like doing well how I am now. And so I've seen both things, and I've been happy in both things. When I was working at JE Sports, I was on like, fuck all, like £5 something an hour. But I was still happy.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying money can't buy you happiness. It's just I was wondering what that noise was. It's the LED light. It's the studio falling apart. It's only been together a week, and hey, it's really starting to fall apart.
I was like trying to keep it cool.
Yeah, I know. I can just see your face. But no, yeah, I just think it is quite interesting.
But this is the thing. It's based on the individual as well. I've been the same. I mean, not a lot of people know this about me, but my first year in this business, I've been self-employed for 6 years now. But in the coaching business, within my first 6 months, I started making massive money in my business. Massive money. I also had what I felt was a great relationship at the time. I had my friends. I'd even been on, you know, a diet program, and I looked sick. I looked amazing. And that was when my biggest bout of depression kicked in, because it overwhelmed me, because I hadn't. And this is what I work with people, working on your self-image so that the things that are happening in your life, you can handle. So, for example, what happened to me is very similar to what happened to a lot of lottery winners. They get £20 million in the bank.
All of a sudden, isn't it?
All of a sudden. Doesn't match their self-image. They're used to working in a biscuit factory and watching Corrie every night. They get 20 million in the bank, and all of a sudden, like, oh no, fucking I don't deserve this, and I need to get rid of it. And it was the same thing that happened to me. I hadn't matched my self-image to what I'd created in my own life. And so I self-sabotaged a lot of it, got rid of all of it, spent all the money, felt depressed, and couldn't talk about it, because obviously I'm a mindset coach, like couldn't talk about it.
Yes, who does the coach turn to?
Yeah, exactly. Luckily I had some great friends around me, so I come out of it. But it is all dependent on the person and how you deal with each thing. The money, the relationship. A lot of people get overwhelmed at relationships. Fitness, everything. It's none of those can make you happy apart from yourself, but they all add to your happiness in a way that you can't deny. You can't deny they add to your happiness at all.
So I think sort of leading on actually quite nicely from that is obviously the main subject for this sort of podcast is work-life balance. Making sure you get do enough work obviously to earn the money that you're happy with. Because remember, I think one thing Gary Vee points out all the time is like, you don't have to be a millionaire. You can earn 100k a year and live an amazing life, which is one thing that, I mean, I guess when you're younger, growing up, obviously you want to be as well off as you can. But I'm like, if you can get to that point where it's like, yeah, you know what, if I can earn 50 grand this year, then yes, like, and when I think sometimes people put such a big figure and don't actually realize what, you know, if you're earning like 40k a year, 50k a year, that's a very good wage. Like in the UK, that's a very nice lifestyle. Like most people, like it's when you start to think, maybe if you know even other people who are, say, on 40 to 60k a year, and you see the life they're living, and you're like, oh yeah, like you just forget, which you just get drawn
there's a
in.
middle ground, and you forget there's also stepping stones as well.
Massively.
And that's something I work on with my clients, because in my industry, I've kind of boycotted my own industry for this reason, because it's very, have your first 6 figures in 6 months, and have 10k months, and have 20k months.
Get rich quick, isn't it?
Get rich quick. And I really fell into that trap, and I did start to make good money in the business in the first 6 months. But I had forgotten that I'd been an entrepreneur for 4 years at that point, and it is a slow build up. And when it is not, it doesn't have to be a slow build up. There's nothing wrong with it being quick. There's nothing wrong with it being slow. But before I had my head adjusted quite nicely to the build up.
Yeah.
So by the time I was doing,
it's the journey, isn't it? It's like the journey of earning your way up.
Yeah. So by the time my eyelash business was doing 4k a month, I was like, okay, well, this has taken 3 years, so I'm used to this. When my current business started doing really well, really quickly, I was like, whoa, this is a bit overwhelming. And my industry is very 6 figures in 6 months. Make 6 figures a year, be like which is amazing, and it's great. And it's also about having do you want a 6-figure business, or do you want a 7-figure business? And actually, it took a while for me to go, this is last year, I'm 24 years old. I'm good where I am.
You have to check yourself.
And I have time. I don't need to be doing these things now, because what it was doing is putting the most ridiculous amount of pressure on myself to earn this money. And then what happens if you're not earning that money, then it's like, oh my God, I'm shit. I must be shit at what I do. I must be a shit business owner. And then if you are earning that money, it's pressure to keep earning that money. So Adele spoke about this when she brought out the album 25. It took her 4 years to bring it out, because 21 did so well. and it like messed with her head. She was like, how am I going to bring out something as good as that? And it was the same with me. I was like, if I've earned this money, then that means I've got to do it again. And instead of it being a fun process, like, oh my God, this is really fun, it was more like I was measuring my value by those figures, when really, like I said, 25 years old, 24 years old, any age, there is no rush. I think one thing as well, as we said, so the whole work-life balance and this split is that I've done it, it's only probably the last 6 months where I thought, actually start spending some of your money, enjoy it a bit, because I found that, well, the thing is, before that, it was just work. Well, I couldn't say no, and I couldn't say no to gigs. It didn't matter what the amount was. I was flat out, like through freshers. I remember one time I did, in 20 days, did 30 gigs. And that's not in one town, that's across country. All over the country, yeah. So it was literally like, I think, 4 days Newcastle, 2 days Leeds, 4 days Liverpool, 2 days Cardiff, back to Leeds, back to Cardiff, then Essex, back to Leeds. And it was just like you're burnt out. And I think lots of people now who are on the whole hustle and all this, etc., you have to know, you have to give yourself time. Yeah, and you have definitely. And I know people say, yes, work in your own time, and, in the hours that you're not, so your free time, like learn educational stuff, but please give yourself some free time, because you need it to chill out. So, like, for example, so when I go on holiday, January is a prime example. So for the last 2 years now, I've taken January off, all of January off, to the point I don't take a single piece of work. And this year was a lot easier to sort of manage it than last year, but like people are asking, no, yeah, but no. And that's come from years of experience, and finally going, I'm putting me in some boundaries now.
You have to, because the point when you don't, and but you won't realise you're burning out until you're burning out.
Yeah.
And it's just...
And then you're no use to anybody anyway.
Yeah, and then the problem is when let's say you're taking on, I was typical for it, I would take on way too much work than I could actually physically do. In my head, I would trick myself, think, that will only take an hour, knowing it's probably going to take 3 hours.
Yeah.
But if you do that to 5 projects in 1 week, you need like an extra day, an extra 2 days to do them. And I was then promising clients they'd have it on this day, they wasn't getting it. And it was just a nightmare. And I think that's one thing that I stress is that, nowadays I think as well, just being slightly more older and realising that you know, as I've said before, if it all goes tits up, fuck it, just go get another 9 to 5. But it's like enjoying it a bit, because you don't want to get till you're like 30, 35, 40, 50, whatever age, and being like, you know what, I wish I'd just went out a bit more, went on holiday a bit more, like say fuck it a bit more, which is what I've started to do a little bit more, even if I'm still conscious of the money and you don't go stupid with it. But yeah, I think just enjoying it a bit more. So if like I want to go on holiday, I'll be like, yeah, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to spend this, let's go on holiday. Or if all the lads are at like it sounds really small. So like when me and all the lads went to Ibiza last summer, we went for 4 days, completely switch off in August as well, which is sort of, I had a week of not really any gigs. So just chilled out total.
Was that when you booked another flight?
Yeah, but horrible. That was the worst day. That
Lynn, what are you doing today? Because I booked another flight.
That wasn't the part. That was not a good day. Really not a good day. No one was on the island. I know. That's Ibiza gets you. And yet, like, prime example. So we went for a meal, Sunset. So Sunset Strip, I guess it's called in Ibiza. It can be quite expensive to eat there. And I just went there and thought, you know what, fuck it. How often am I going to be sat at a table with like 14 like friends, the sun's going down, it's in Ibiza, like perfect sunset, and I just thought, fuck it, I'm going to have the nicest food, I'm going to have a few cocktails, and alright, it wasn't expensive, but let's say it's like 100 quid, something like that, where I might have gone and been like, let's try keep it like 20 euros or something. It's thinking, no, hang on, I'm on holiday, fuck it, just enjoy yourself, because you're going to get that money back. Like, and not be funny.
Absolutely, you will get that money back. Money is a never-ending resource. It's always going to flow back to you.
And there's no point just earning, and then not enjoying it. Like, what's the point? Go out, buy that new top you want, buy the new shoes.
Because if not, you're keeping yourself prisoner. I mean, this is the thing, like, I have a love-hate relationship with Gary Vee, because I think he's so hustle, which is great when you need the hustle mode. But I don't want to wait until I'm 45 to enjoy what I'm doing now. I want to enjoy it now because I'm very aware. I've had so many young deaths around me since I've been growing up. So my uncle died in a car crash when he was 24. When my dad was 26, he was in a car crash where his two best friends got decapitated in the front seat. Sure. My dad nearly died in that. One of my best friends, she died when she was 24. Recently, last year, my mum's best friend died. She was 50. I've had so many people that have died so young around me. I know tomorrow's not promised. So yes, I can hustle and hope that by the time I'm 40, I can retire. But at the end of the day, I might not make that age. So it's about enjoying it now, because you literally are not promised tomorrow.
No, like
so you can sit at Mambo's or wherever you were, or Savannah's, and you can say, "Oh, do you know what? I'm only going to spend 20 euros today." And then you get hit by a bus tomorrow, and that's your last memory.
It is.
Like,
no, I know, and it's.
I held out last night. Oh, my life's flashing before my eyes, and you could go, "Do you know what? I had the sickest night last night. I spent a lot, and it was great." Or you could go, "Oh, I really wish I had another cocktail."
Yeah, I think it's, but in going back to obviously the work life, and we keep sort of tangenting off, is that, one thing I always do is Sundays. I give myself Sundays completely. Sometimes I'm edit or working on Saturdays because of the nature of my job. Yeah. But Sundays is me. And the amount of times that, especially recently, promoters or whoever, it could be anyone, clients, message me on a Sunday or a Sunday evening at 8, 9 o'clock. And now I'm not rude with my response, but I just say, I'll be like, they'll send it through and I'll just reply, say, what are you doing today or this evening? They're like, I'm spending it with family, or I'm doing this. Yeah, me too. I'll talk to you tomorrow on Monday. And I think that's one thing with anyone who's starting first out with clients is draw that line from the beginning. Because if you don't, like I didn't, it then comes across rude when you start implementing new ideas. One thing I've realized as well is that any characteristics like that, if you are, say, if you're only ever going to give them, I don't know, let's say 2 sets of amendments, make that clear from the first time you start working. You say it's 2 sets of amendments included in the work, and then you get charged on top. Yeah. Because if you start introducing stuff later down the line, that sort of the amendment thing isn't as bad. But the thing like the Sunday, you've wired it into people's head that they can contact you whenever they want. Yeah. yes, you don't have to reply, but I just reply to people pretty much straight away anyway, because
we're always on our phones.
I don't want to be rude. Yeah. And it's just, I just think that that's one thing that you should make sure if you're starting out and you're with clients, and just make sure you give yourself at least 1 day a week. If you want to work as much as you can, but do even something like you can still hustle and work on the Sunday and do your own projects or whatever you want, but
it's just your time, your bubble.
Make sure, you do give yourself some time. That could be a Monday. Sometimes I've had it where, let's say I've been working on a Saturday night, obviously driven back from whatever city it was, and then come back on the Sunday, got home at like 6 o'clock, I'm shattered, chilled, films, takeaway. Sometimes I'll take Monday morning off and just chill. And then Monday, like I'll start like Monday afternoon, start Monday afternoon and just have like a late start. I just think it's a massive thing that I didn't realise it myself until recently, just how important it is. And I used to struggle with stress a lot, but not really realising it was stress. As in, it was lots of little small things that add up over time. Yeah. And all sorts of, like, I would get ill a lot. Like, my skin would be really, I have eczema anyway, but my skin would be terrible. Yeah. Like, I'd then come out in little outbreaks of it, and I was like, what is causing this? Is it what I'm eating? Changed all my diet, wasn't that. Like, went to the doctors, and they were just like, oh, what's happened? And like, just little things. It wasn't nothing dramatic, but small little things, like being too overloaded with work, and then all soon loads up. I mean, I had my first ever panic attack last summer, where I had come back from Ibiza, was sort of overloaded with work anyway, was generally quite stressed. All the rest of the family were on holiday, so it wasn't like I could go see anyone. Yeah. Like, all my friends were away, and I just remember getting back and being just
suffocated.
Like, yeah, it was a really weird thing. Oh, and it was the week, everything had got, so basically if anyone has me on Instagram through last summer, I had 2-3 weeks of everything went wrong.
I remember.
So what is it? I missed flights, I had flights cancelled, I had, what else? I had like 10 things break on my car. I had all sorts of stuff kept on happening, and it was interesting because I just laughed everything off. I was getting parking tickets, all speeding tickets. I was like, just kept laughing it off. And in my head, I was like, if I don't laugh, I'll cry. Yeah. Laughing. And then it hit. Yeah. When no one else was around. And I was just panicked. And I basically all come down to, I accepted 2 jobs. And I should have I'd been back from holiday like a day. Yeah, you should have. Not even chilled. That. And I basically just jumped straight back into work. And it was just all too much. I just freaked. And it was the weirdest fucking thing in my life. And I never understood anyone who's like panic attack. I've never had one. So I was like, what is it? And since I've had that, I now like understand how people like feel like you could start, your heart's racing so quick and you're breathing.
You literally feel like the walls are caving in.
And I was just like, this is like, people go through, I guess that's sort of what anxiety is from what I've heard. But yeah, and after that, I was just like, no, this is you need now to make, and just enjoying life a bit more. So now I've actually taken less jobs on. I'm now trying to do more of the jobs I want to do, charge a little bit more, but I'm having more fun. And I've sort of said to myself, even if I earn a bit less, I'm going to be a bit happier.
Yeah, of course you are.
Because there was lots of jobs I was doing, like the clubbing videos, like just getting a bit fed up and bored, like just same clubs. It's not challenging. Like you're turning up, all right, it's good money for what I'm doing, but I'm not enjoying it. Yeah. It's just like, well, and it's not challenging me. So I'm like, well, what's the point? I want to do this for like, and I don't want to stand around in clubs anymore. Like, but I'm now, since I've sort of done that, and I took freshers off by doing that work with Gymshark, was like the perfect timing. So that come in when I would have done freshers work, and I was just dedicated to Gymshark, and it was like, this is what I needed to like now, because obviously if someone turns around to you and says, oh, you can work X amount through freshers, we can, like, as in like the nightclubs, you can earn, I mean, some freshers in a 2-4 week period, you can turn over $6,000, like before taking out all your driving costs. Of course. But like more than that even. I mean, like work it out at like, you know, several £100 a video, and you're doing 20 videos, that money adds up quickly. But on the same side, I was then getting behind on the edits, so then it was stress from that. Yeah, and people aren't getting edits till 2 weeks up, it's not 2 months after. No,
it's turned into 2 or 3 months for a job.
Yeah, and then you're not getting that money till like Christmas because you haven't done. And it was just a bit of a nightmare, and I just realised, no, this is the path now. Just do less work, do more of the work I want, charge a little bit more. I've when I hear other people's prices, I'm like, shit, they're getting away with that.
Yeah.
And their work level is, it's very big-headed of me to say, but I would feel that
I've been
I would
through the
feel
exact
that
same
say
thing.
my level of work would be higher than what
High quality.
would be worth more value of what.
Yeah.
So let's say we're both charging the same price. I would feel that my work is of better value to the client.
No, definitely.
And knowing that I know how that person operates within that environment, and I know how I operate. So for me, it's like, hang on a second, why is that? And so I put my prices up. And now if people say, oh, but do this, come on, mate. And I'm just like, no.
So I found this in myself, in my industry. So when I first started, I found that a lot of the coaches I was like alongside, not competition, but a lot of the coaches that I was up against, they had never owned their own business before. They hadn't studied mindset. They just not that they didn't know what they were on about, but I knew a lot more of what I was on about.
Yeah.
So I tripled my prices. And everyone around me was like, how can you triple your prices? I'm like, because I have to set myself in a different standard to I know what they're giving, because I just know my standard is different. But what happens when I'm not saying triple your prices if you're an entrepreneur, like do it to like what you feel is best, but that's what I felt was best at the time. That is going to give you a better work-life balance, because you are going to be working less hours and more concentrated on that client or on that project or on that product, whatever it is that you're doing, and you're going to have more free time around it. So you're going to be having more money, less hours, more concentrated focus on what you are doing, than say taking on 10 clients at a tenth of the price and just like running yourself into the ground with all this commotion going on. It's really not healthy. And for me, the work-life balance, I've only really changed that in the past 3 or 4 months, I'd say. And my work-life balance was introducing a social life back into my life, because
it was the same with me. I just was never got. It's now making time to see friends, reintroducing that back in. So you're not just working like you actually going out, because not just that can be when you network as well.
Exactly. And you meet great people. You don't even realise they're a great person for your business at the time. And then 6 months later, you're like, oh my God, yeah, you're going to be great for this thing. But for me, my first year of business was completely me, laptop, bedroom, like that.
Yeah, head down.
Yeah, because I had my first business as well, which was like doing eyelash extensions. So I would work from 9 till 9 doing that. And then I would get straight on my laptop, and I was burnt out so much. And then I got repetitive strain injury in my hands. I was on a pack of like EVPRO a day, and then I was on the laptop like this at night. And I went from having 40 hours of lash clients a week to 40 hours on my own when I went full time in this. And I'm a social butterfly, like I couldn't deal with that. But instead of making a social life in that time, because all my friends they had a 9 to 5, or they had kids, or they just had lives, I was like, oh, I didn't have the confidence at that time to go out and make new friends and force a social life. So instead what I did is I worked more. So not only was I working the normal hours that I would in my business, then this extra hours that I had come in, I was just like laptop, mindset book, study. And it sent me a little bit crazy. And I think that did add to my depression a lot as well, because you can't have all that time in one thing, in your business, all that time in the business. You need the other areas of your life to be fulfilled as well, in order for your business to feel as fulfilling as possible. So in the last 3 months, I've made my social life not just this option, a necessity.
Yeah.
Like I have to be having fun at the weekends, like you said about Sundays. I have this thing, since this has been my New Year's resolution, to ask somebody to do something with me every day. It doesn't have to be for that day, but I will text someone every single day and say, will you do this? Shall we plan this for the summer? Because I actually, in December, I decided to start helping charities as a way to, get myself out there and have more social interaction. Yeah. Because what I do, I'm behind a laptop a lot of the time, so it can be quite reclusive. And I was talking to a cancer patient, and she said she'd moved to the area 20 years ago, no friends, no family. And she was like, so I used to go out salsa dancing, and I went to this club, and I went to this club. She went, life doesn't come to you, duck. You go to life. And I felt like the universe was just speaking to me. And I was like, oh, I think I've heard my message now. So now I've got this thing where I like message someone every single day to keep that part of my work-life balance. So it's not all me sat in my office doing something to the blog. It's, no, I'm going to go have fun now. This has been great for 4 hours, but I'm going to go have fun now.
Yeah, I just think it is really important, especially people, as I say, just giving yourself some of that time. There's nothing wrong with hustling and working in your spare hours. But you do also have to give yourself own time.
It's the yin and yang of the universe.
Literally,
it's like the ebb and flow.
Balance.
It's balance.
It's just about balance. It's about finding what works best for you, and what works best for some people might not work best for others. The thing that you do have to realise, though, is that you can't then use that as an excuse to then
slack off.
To do absolutely, say, nothing for like 3-4 days of the week, and then be like, oh, well, I've been trying to be an entrepreneur. I'm just giving myself my work-life balance.
Yeah.
Don't like start taking that and using it. It's just giving yourself a day, 2 days, or it might be an hour. It might be you say, okay, when I get home from gym or whatever, that's it. No more computer, no laptop, or after dinner, you say, okay, or after 9 o'clock. It can be, okay, after 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock.
No phone.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No laptop, no thing. I'm just going to sit down and just watch something, whether it's Netflix, YouTube, whatever. But I think it's just really important to sort of have that grounding. I want to delve into now. I put some feelers out onto Instagram, just about basically that this episode was about work-life balance, and see if there was any questions. But I also actually had my friend Liam, who's a wedding photographer. He said he wants to sort of share his view, because he's a photographer. He's our age. I think he's 24. Yeah, he was a year below me in school. Yeah, no, I know. Good point. I was friends with him in secondary school, but he sent this clip through, and it's quite cool. Now, Liam's actually a father as well, so a single father. So for him, it's sort of it's just good to see how he balances doing photography full time and how he also doesn't. So I'm going to get the clip up. We'll play it for us. I'll put it in on the podcast as well. But yeah.
Eggsplosive Podcast. How fantastic is the response bit, mate? It's been fantastic. So, you mentioned in your Instagram stories about work-life balance, and I think it's fantastic. And it's something that's so needed. So, one thing that people do tend to overlook is the word time management. Myself, I'm naive for it. When I first got into the industry, time management wasn't a thing, because I was spending 100% of my time trying to find clients, trying to find the next possible clients, getting them deposits, chasing up emails, meeting clients. Everything was 100% work. 3 or 4 months into my personal journey, so I've already made the leap of going full time. I've gone through all the stress.
I'm just going to pause that there. I think that's straight away that's sort of another thing we've been talking about. Is just your time management.
Yeah, definitely.
So just managing sort of when you're doing what and when you're giving yourself your own time as well.
Yeah, and I think what's important as well is to learn what distracts you in your own time, because for me, I was reading law of attraction books and mindset books for 7 years before I started this business. So that was my outlet. But then I started the business and I didn't change my outlet. So my downtime was still business time.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you found that with photography. You probably look at photography things in your downtime.
It sort of was, I guess.
Yeah. So for me, I had to figure out what actually switches my mind off when I'm trying to take time away. Because if not, I just go on law of attraction stuff. I'd go on mindset stuff. And then someone was like, yeah, but Lydia, that's not your hobby anymore. It's your business.
Yeah.
So it's learning where your mind just switches off as well.
No, definitely. Right, let's...
If you just
that's my reply.
What did you reply?
No, that was my reply before him. He asked if he could send the voice note. I was like, yeah, crack on, man. Here we go. When technology works. There we go.
It's been fantastic. So work. 3 or 4 months into my personal journey, so I've already made the leap of going full time. I've gone through all the stresses and strains that it is. Do I do it? Do I not do it? 3 or 4 months in, I found out I was going to be a dad, and I'm not going to lie to you, I was fucking terrified. That was a bit of a nervous laugh then, but I was absolutely shitting myself when I found out. And I didn't find out at the usual time where you've got 9 months to kind of prepare. I found out when she was 6 months. And I did know predominantly that I was going to be a single dad for this as well. However, generally we've got a really good relationship and things have worked out really nicely. And I will obviously touch on that in a moment. But finding out I was going to be a dad, obviously being self-employed with no 100% secure income coming in, I was thinking, I've got to go back to my old job. I've got to go back. It was boring. It was tedious. I like the people there, But the money was good. However, it's not a job that I could see as a career, and it's not something that I actually enjoyed. So I'd already gone through the stresses and strains of do I or do I not become a photographer, and do I do it with everything that I want? Sorry, that might not make sense. Do I do it?
So deciding whether he wants to jump full in or not, yeah.
Going into it full steam ahead, if that makes sense. Sorry, kind of started then. So it was one of them. It actually took me about 2 weeks to decide what path I'm actually going to go on. So I was watching every possible motivational speech under the sun. So I was listening to Tony Robbins, Gary Vee, actors like Denzel Washington and Jim Carrey. And
on that YouTube search.
Yeah, definitely.
Jim Carrey. Long story short, saying you might as well do what you want to do, because you could always get sacked from that safe job. And this is kind of where my head was at. I thought, I've been a photographer for 7 years. People know me as a photographer, and I am determined not to fail at it. So
I love this guy.
My determination was, does my son want to look at me in 20 years' time, being in this warehouse job that I didn't like, that I didn't love? What motivation is that for him to then go and get his dreams?
That's huge.
So going back onto the time management, as my son's got older, and he is 14 months now, but as he's got older, time management has been a lot more easier for me. However, I have had such a great response from my family. So when you're shooting 40, 50 weddings a year, it gets tough. It gets tough, and especially myself, I do 50-50 parenting. So over a 2-week period, we both have him 7 days. So my time management consists of meeting clients, the general communications, pre-wedding shoots, the wedding day, editing.
Yeah, it's not just one day, is it? It's
all
not.
the postage and packaging, and everything that comes with running a business. You've got the social media side of it. You've got keeping
Accounting,
up
bookkeeping.
your accounting and your books.
I hate that part.
So time management is so key, and with that, if you perfect it, you can honestly have such a balanced work-life ratio that it will just work fantastically for you. So everyone that's listening to Eggsplosive Podcast, Reese, you're doing a fantastic job, mate. Look forward to hearing the next one.
Wow. Thank you, Liam, firstly, for sending that to me, man. I really appreciate that. I think that's a massive insight. Not just, hopefully you guys, well, you would have heard it because I'll add it in on the podcast, but on the audio. But that's from someone who has actually done it. So they've had that moment thinking, what do I do? Do I go full time? And it's almost like an ultimatum in a way for him, because okay, you've got guaranteed safe money this way, but are you going to be happy? But do you do it for the sake of your child? Or do you just say, fuck it, I'm going to do it and I'm going to make it work? And it's like we spoke about on my first interview, is that you just have to go for it. You
have to go for it.
Like, if he fails, what do? You go back to that job.
Of course.
That 9 to
and
5 is
not
going anywhere.
It's not going anywhere. It was a similar for me in my business, because when I was doing my eyelash business and I was working on coaching, my hands stopped working. I started to get repetitive strain, and it was at the point where I haven't even started coaching yet. Like, do I go get another job, or do I just fling myself into coaching and just make it work? And there's very, very hit and miss opinions on this, depending on who you ask, but I'm a very sink or swim type of person. I believe if you are jumping in at the deep end, you have no choice but to push and fight to get to the top. Whereas when you have a side job, and I'm not saying because not having a side job can cause a lot of stress if there's no money coming in. It depends on what type of person you are. But I do believe having that motivation of being sink or swim is so powerful. And absolutely hats off to Liam for thinking of his son in that situation as well, and using that, because a lot of other people, this is what people don't understand, 95% of the world would have used that as an excuse to go back to a normal job.
Yeah, exactly.
Not as motivation. They would use it as an excuse. And they would have gone, I'm going to take the safe route because it's easier. It would have been so easy for him to go and get 9 to 5.
No, definitely 100%. And I think that's, as you just touched on there, that's the difference, is at deciding whether you're going to let it scare you and whether you're going to let it convince you to go back to your full-time job, or whether you're going to use it as motivation. So yeah, I think I mean that's massively insightful, and people listening to that, you guys will be able to see that's actually from someone who has actually done it. And Liam I remember when me and Liam both sort of started out at the same time. Him slightly before me, but you know, he did it part-time for years. He had a part-time job and he did it on the side. And then I remember him messaging saying like, oh, like, how do you know to go for it? I said, just try it, mate. Just try it. And obviously he did. And then he got hit with, you know, a potential obstacle in the...
Huge obstacle.
Yeah, an obstacle in the road that then makes you challenge.
A beautiful blessing of an obstacle.
Yeah, of course. But it's
a challenge in itself, definitely.
Because as he said, you know, he's got to provide for his now.
You're not just looking after yourself now, which is hard enough as it is to run a business on you. I'm not sure how you feel. It's hard enough to manage me on my own.
But to then have that extra responsibility, I think, yeah, fair play to him. And I know he's doing really well now, and Liam's a proper nice guy. So thank you, Liam, for sending that in. That's a really nice touch.
Very honest as well. Yeah,
definitely. Very honest. Thank you for sort of
being vulnerable with us.
I hope you guys have got something out of that. Let's cut over. We'll do quick fire questions. Okay. So let's go over now. As I said, I put this out on my Instagram stories. I'm going to start doing this on a few of the podcasts. So when we got guests and we're talking about subjects, I'm going to throw up on my Instagram stories what we're going to be talking about, and then you guys can sort of throw in your suggestions, comments, so on. So let's see what people have been asking. Okay, wow. Right, we've got quite a few questions. Okay. So we've got here how to balance a freelance job and a full-time job. And that is from Ryan Bethel. I hope I pronounced that right. How to balance a freelance job and a full-time job. I'm guessing they're meaning at the same time. I have done it. It's hard. It's hard because if you're in a full-time job, normally working Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, that then means the only time you can really do something is the weekends or in your evenings. So depending on what that freelance job is, it's hard, but it's just time management. You're going to have to be prepared. You're going to be tired. You're going to be shattered.
Definitely. I think also adding on to that, if you're tired and you're shattered, you need to be fueling your body with the right things. Like, I didn't realise how much food used to affect me so much in my business. If you're eating crap all the time and you're not drinking enough water, juggling those two things, it's going to be 10 times harder. You need to treat your business like an athlete treats themselves. You know, that's why like a lot of athletes are so prime all the time, because they've conditioned themselves to. So if you are going to juggle two things, make sure you're looking after the whole of your kind of existence, not just these two.
No, yeah, I think, just literally that. I think, and sometimes, I tried it as a full-time job and it was quite hard, and the freelancing took a bit of a back burner, because I know how tired, we've all done full-time jobs, we know how tiring it can be, just the whole process of going to your job, then the commute home, and then if you're going to
a job
gym,
you don't like as well.
Exactly, it all takes an effect. So I think if you are really keen and you have a profession you want to try do it as much as you can as well full-time, and then maybe try transition to part-time. You know, you can be part-time but still do 30 hours a week instead of say a 40-hour week. Or, you know, if you're on 30 hours already or 35 hours, I think the standard's 35 hours. If not, you can then bring that down to maybe 21 hours a week. But then by doing that, you then use them extra 2 days a week you get to then fill that gap. And you'll be like, oh, what about money? But that is then your drive to then make the other thing work, because then all of a sudden your income's taking a hit. You're going to notice very quickly if you need to step it up a bit. And I think that becomes your drive. When you have to make that money, that is when that becomes your drive. So like, it's like when you go full time, you make the money and get it because you have no other option.
You have no other option. And I think, adding on to that as well, never forget why you're doing it. Never forget why you're juggling the both things. Like, keep the end goal in mind at all times. Doesn't make it easier in terms of the tiredness, but it keeps you going every single day. It means you get up and you do it every single day. Definitely.
We got a quick one here. I want to get your verdict on it as well. Okay. They've said, do you set times to be in work mode, and how do you fully focus when working? I'm going to quickly give my answer, then we'll go to you. This was from Martin Hand Photo. Do I set times to be in work mode? I never used to. Yes, I do now. I used to edit till 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever in the morning. I've now just realised sleep is a lot more important. Health is important. For me now, it is, I normally sort of wake up about 9ish, 8, 9, probably get to my editing space, like my office, about maybe 11, 12, but then I'll edit till like 8, 9. It's normally about 8:30. Then once I leave at 8:30, and what I've done as well is, not everyone can do this, but even if you have a spare room, which all your computer stuff's in, once I walk out there, like all my stuff's there, so I can't just do an edit. Yes, I have my MacBook, but I'm not doing an edit at home. And it's just...
game changer.
It's not a way of it. You just do it. Like, just have the balls to do it. And if people are like, oh yeah, but I need this done. Well, sorry, these are my operating times. Like, at the end of the day, like, you're not on call to someone 24/7. That's not how it works. You have your time. So for me, I just 8:30, I leave the office, I go to the gym. I then don't do any work until I get back in the next day. I'm still on my phone if it's an emergency, and I'm always replying to stuff on WhatsApp normally. But normally sort of after 10 o'clock, nothing. It's just setting the boundaries for yourself.
Definitely.
How do you fully focus when working? Knowing you've only got that time scale to do it, and that you are physically leaving that place, you know, when you do it. Even if it's a spare room in your house, put a lock on the door if you have to, like a padlock and a key. Just that little inconvenience of you having to go unlock it to go do that will be enough to you say, no, I'll do it in the morning.
Literally shut your laptop down instead of putting it to sleep.
Yeah, like it's little things like this. You have to set up that divide. Because as I say, you can't work 24/7.
No.
It's not healthy. It's not good for you.
No.
And yeah, just getting it done. Just do it. I'm a bad procrastinator, so I know how it is once you get stuck on YouTube or whatever, but
Me too.
you just can't do it. And you know when you're going to do it, so just don't do it. You have to just draw a line and say, no, stop being a twat, get on with the work. Because you feel better once the work's done. So, yeah, I'd like to see, how do you sort of set times on how you work?
Weekends are mine, but if I want to work, I will work. It is one of those things where it's like, they are my time, but then if I'm like sat and I'm bored, I'm like, okay, I don't mind getting my work out.
Yeah.
Mondays are always mindset Mondays. I call them mindset Mondays. That means I am like working on my self-confidence. I'm working on my beliefs. I'm also working on my money. So that's the day that I, track my money for the week and I write everything where it needs to be and all that kind of things. Mondays is generally not a day that I will take client calls, unless it's an emergency. And Mondays are mine, basically, me Mondays. I don't start working until 12. So I'm a little bit of a late riser. That is the reason I'm my own boss, because I don't like mornings.
Yeah, exactly. Why not?
Why the heck? Like, my mum goes on at me all the time. I'm like, I'd have a 9 to 5 if I want to wake up at 7. I don't. So I wake up around 10 o'clock and have like a shower, listen to music, just do me for 2 hours basically, and then I'll start work. I also, so there's a strategy called the Pomodoro strategy, I think it's called, where you work for 25 minutes, take 5 minutes off. I'm not massively into that because I'd just start doing shit in the 5 minutes and then never go back to it. But I do believe in 3 hour blocks at a time now, 2 or 3 hour blocks at a time now, where I'm like, okay, 12 till 3, perfect. This is my work time. This is what we're getting done. This is the blog I'm going to write today. This is what content I'm going to create. Then I go to the gym. Gym is massive for me now. If I don't go, my mind goes down.
I'm the same.
I feel unfulfilled. I feel like I've been lazy, and then that affects everything else I'm doing. Whereas when I first started, it was the whole day, 9 till 9 at night was work, and it was stressful and it was boring, and not boring, but it got boring in the end because you're just working all the time. So it goes to like 12 till 3, gym, mooch about, and then at 5 or 6, if I want to do another couple hours of work, I will do it. But generally, evenings past 8 o'clock are mine. And that's Netflix, that's going out with friends, that's chilling, out with my boyfriend, whatever. Like, that is mine, just out and phone off. Not in Instagram mode, because I'm very and I found this with my one-on-one.
I know how that feels.
Yeah, one-on-one clients, they have an option to have, well, they don't have an option. They get voice note coaching from me because I literally want to be in their pockets all the time as their cheerleader when they need it. But I have had to work on the boundaries with that in the past, because I would have clients sending me like 50-minute voice notes, and I'm like, I don't know I don't know where I'm going to find the time to get back to this. How do I do each point? So now I'm like, okay, there's a limit to 15 minutes at a time, and there's a certain amount a day. So it's still unlimited, but there's just limits to what's in the unlimited
I know
section.
what you mean.
Luckily, I'm quite good now. The type of clients who sign up now, they don't take the piss with it. They're they don't need a lot of it. They just get off the phone call, they go and implement what I say, and then they'll check in on a voice note.
Cool.
But in the beginning phases, it was very like hard. So it's just keeping those personal boundaries and sticking to them. And like you said, just learning to say no. And say yes to yourself, which is really cheesy, but it's true.
Saying that is actually one of the questions we've been asked from NHM Media. They've said, how do you learn to say no? I just want to say yes to every opportunity, but I never chill. I think we've sort of covered it a bit in the podcast.
You just have to say no.
Just
say no.
And I don't mean this harsh, but you just have to get the balls.
Yeah.
Just grow the balls, just say it. I understand it's hard because I've been in that situation, so I know exactly how it is. And when you're just hungry for it I'm still hungry now.
Yeah,
when you're hungry for it, you just want everything. You want every bit of work. You don't want to say no to any piece. I just think it's it's a tough one.
I have a new rule. I've got a rule that I kind of live by. And it's like, if it's not a hell yes, it's a no. So unless you really want to say yes to this person right now, it's a no.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. So I do think though that when obviously people are trying to make it their income and they're trying to make it their money, all of a sudden then they're like, oh well, this extra 150 that covers XY, that might cover half your rent, or that might cover your car insurance. So I understand how it is. I think you have to get to the stage where
you trust
if you feel like you shouldn't be saying yes, you probably shouldn't.
Yeah.
Like follow your gut instinct on it. So if you're taking this job on thinking, I did really want to do this weekend, and I've got this and this all this week, or am I going to be able to edit it in time? Am I going to be able to? If you're thinking like that, you probably shouldn't take it. It's a tough one. I think it's one of them ones that also comes with experience. You're not, I think...
The first year, you're definitely going to say, it's way too many things.
For me, the first 4 years, just said yes to everything. And I found it very hard to say no. I think it also becomes a financial thing as well. Mm-hmm. So once you know you can earn X, Y, Z, you can then be like, I know I can say no to these. Yeah. Because one, it's not worth, not your time, but it's...
The stress.
I don't feel that my time is best invested into that job because of the returns it might get. It might be that job, is just going to be a money earner, but it might be another job. Let's say you say yes to that, and then that'll be all. But let's just say, so you've got that wouldn't really do anything. All it does is just money in the pocket. It's your bread and butter. But then you've got a job which is sort of, I don't know, it could be less money, but a job that is really going to go somewhere and do bits. You want to be putting more attention into that job. So what I'm saying is, if you've got loads of work on already for the whole week, and one job can really potentially go somewhere, and it requires all of your effort, but you then take on another job, you're then going to have to take 40% away from that job to focus on this other job. Either way, someone's going to suffer. One, the bread and butter client is suffering because although, yes, it's just bread and butter they're paying, remember, you're only as good as your last job. Mm-hmm. If you then do a shit job with them, then they're not going to use you anymore. But with a new client, if you only give them 60% and you can give them better, then you're going to feel shit. What's the point in that? You want to give them the best. So I think it's just, you will know. It's gut instinct, and you just have to think, okay, can I do this? Can I fit it in? Have I got the time? If you take it and be like, yeah, I can do it. Or if you think, you know what, I really want to do it. I don't know if I should take it, but if I move this and this around, then I know I can definitely dedicate 100% to it. Just make sure you can give 100% to every job. If you can't, then don't take it.
Yeah, definitely.
Because it's not going to do you any favours. It's not going to do the client any favours. And in the long run, it's not worth it. And if you have to be honest with the client and say, look, I'm sorry, I really want to do it, but I'm just too busy at the minute. It might be, if it's not a date specific, they'll be like, cool, no worries. When are you able to do it?
Yeah.
Boom.
Magic.
Negotiate with people. I think that's just one thing that's really overlooked.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. Have you got anything to sort of add into that?
No, I think you covered it. I think it's just learning to put you first.
Definitely. That's one thing we haven't said actually.
That is in business, that is in relationships, that is with family members, that is life. Put you first. And again, it's a gut instinct thing. It is knowing Does this make me feel good? If no, don't do it. And I get money is an issue, but I don't think somebody who needs the money would be asking that question because they'd be saying yeah anyway.
Yeah.
I think this person is at a point where they're struggling to kind of take the reins back or take a back seat. No? Just chill. Like,
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Do you know what I mean? I think this question is coming from someone who, like, I think if you're struggling financially, you say yeah to everything. You do.
Yeah.
If you're having to think about whether to say yeah, you're probably in a position where you're doing all right. Learn to put you first, because putting you first puts everything else first anyway. You can't, if you have not put you first, your business will suffer, your friendships will suffer, your family life will suffer, your relationships will suffer, because you have to fill you up so that you can be the best possible version that you can bring to any table, business, life, whatever. And
the business is in a representation of you. So if you're not 100%, then you're not going to get 100% out of the business. It's a full circle.
Yeah, definitely.
The business can't do 100% if you can't do 100%. Of
course. And you are, I think this is something to remember, like people think about logos, they think about branding and like all these kind of things. You are your business. No matter how many people on your team, you are your business. And if you're knackered, you've said yes to something you shouldn't have really said yes to, you turn up, you look like shit, you feel like shit, you're not charismatic like you usually would be.
Yeah.
What are they going to think of you? And it's not even just that person that's not going to work with you again. You don't know who they know. Who's going to say, hey, guess what, Lydia, she looked like shit last week. Like, she didn't bring her best game. She did a speech for us and she just like looked like she wanted to fall asleep.
Exactly.
That's going to have a knock-on effect.
Exactly.
Whereas if I say no, and like you said, they go, well, what time can you do then? And I come back 2 weeks later and I'm like, yeah, Lydia was sick. We're going to hire her every time. Then it's a different thing.
Yeah, I think just quickly as well, I want to jump onto an extra question they've got here, which is, how do you cope when work is quiet? This is from RLW Videography, Ronald. I always pronounce his name wrong. I've known him for a while, but yeah, how do you cope when work is quiet? I think I've got my method, but I want to hear yours first.
I stay productive. If work is quiet, I stay productive. I still use it as a bit of, okay, this is nice. It's a bit of a chill. I think we were discussing this earlier.
Yeah.
This is nice. It's a bit of downtime. It's a bit of chill, but I'm still going to stay productive because my end result is not sleeping. My end result is not quiet. My end result isn't taking a break. So yeah, work might be quiet this week, this month, but my end result of where I'm going to be in 2 years' time, that's still waiting for me. So I'm still going to use this time to not sleep on myself and use it as an excuse to be lazy. I'm also not going to use it as a time to be a victim and be like, oh, fucking hell, poor me. I ain't got no work this week.
Yeah.
Because then you go into a different trap. I'm not going to use it as an excuse to beat myself up. I'm going to use it as productively as possible to make sure that 2 year goal is still my goal and I'm still getting there, whether this month's quiet or not, and I don't give a shit, I'm still going to get there. And I think having that confidence as well and using that time especially to work, you should be working on your beliefs every single day. I'm a mindset coach, I know. But you should be using that time even more. Like, it's easy to feel good about your business when things are flying. It's easy to feel good about your business when the money's rolling in. When it's quiet, that's when you're going to realise what you're made of. Yeah. That's where you're going to be cut from a different cloth. So that is where you need to be going, nah, I don't care what the current situation is saying. I'm still getting there.
I think as well is once you've done 1 or 2 years, you'll start to see, depending what sets you're working in, you start to see a pattern. So for me, I know that from pretty much April onwards, May onwards, it's pretty much non-stop, right up until Christmas or right up till New Year's Eve. January, dead. Obviously, I work in nightlife entertainment, sort of thing. That's where predominantly most of my work is. January and February are quite quiet. That's why most people in the nightlife industry take January off.
Like you have this year in Bali.
Exactly, yeah. Loads of DJs and stuff. Everyone just takes it off. March time is when it starts to pick up. Now, for me, I know that this first quarter of the year is sort of the quietest time. So you prepare for it. So simple way is, I think we actually mentioned it in our original video, is saving up for it, saving that money up. So if you know your work's going to be busy through, let's say for 3 months, you know, okay, I've got this and these amounts of jobs coming. Because obviously you don't just take jobs on a weekly, but you take them on a monthly and so on. So if you think, okay, I know I've got this money, just bear in mind that, you know, that quarter, or for me, I know that quarter is going to be quiet. So I save up a little bit of extra money. So I know that I'm not going to be filming most weekends.
Yeah.
I think February for me I've had like 2 gigs, maybe 3, which is a lot for February. But then like last year, it can just really depend. So March last year was dead. We didn't have any job, and we were doing the creative agency at the time, and it was fucking dead. Luckily,
but you were still doing other things at that time, because I know you were doing something similar to this. And at this point in the year, like 2019, downtime, you're creating your personal branding and your podcast.
Literally. So I sort of done it.
He's not sleeping on himself.
I done it as much as I sort of possibly could. I did last year, but then realised we had to actually try work and bits. And as I say, March last year was quiet, but March this year is, looking really good, hopefully, touch wood. But as you say, I've used it to come back and work on myself. So I now know how hectic I am through summers. And the only thing I can really, in terms of content that I can actually physically produce is my quick BTSs, like my GoPro stories, stuff like that takes an hour tops. I can do that on a plane, in a car, no matter.
This is going to be hard in summer.
Yeah, these sort of podcasts is hard to do, which is why I know that I've got majority of February free, which is why I converted this room, turned this room into a studio. I've worked on extra bits of content. While I was at Gymshark, I knew that I had my evenings from 6-7 o'clock onwards. So I've actually filmed like 4 videos that I'm still yet to put out, but they're big videos. They're big content driven videos. So they're going to take a few hours to edit, because I want them to be right. I want it to be, to the standard that I expect. And I think it's just, when you're quiet, use that to capitalize on the future stuff. So this is your time to network. Like, there's lots of times where people are probably going to, even previous clients, they're going to book you, but they just need that little thing. Just reach out to them. Doesn't have to be, it can just be a general reach out.
Hello.
Yeah, like, how are you? Just checking everything's all good.
I've got a lot of business just from doing that. And not with the intention of even,
no, and because they're previous clients, they know you're not trying to get the work. It's just, hey, look. And then sometimes I've said,
and that's just best customer service as well for any business, like making sure the customer experience is as good as it could possibly be. I
think one thing I've used as well before is saying to them, say, look, because you're a client, obviously I want to make sure, you're a previous client, you get, what should I say? Is it like, I feel like first come, first serve sort of thing.
Is there anything you want me to do this year?
Exclusivity. Yeah. Are there any dates you already want to book out? Off the back of that, you might get 5 dates. You're like, oh, okay, sweet. So you've got the next 5 months of work sorted. Or there can be all little things, but also use that time to, if you want to move into a new sector, move into maybe filming houses or use that as your time. All of a sudden, you've got this free time, so you can
don't lose it.
Don't be lazy with your time. Use your time. So research the area you want to go into. See who the key indicators are. Attack or move to it. Start making the potential foundations for what you can then build on when it's busy. Because once you're busy and you're rolling, you're not going to have time to do that. So it's like laying the foundations of the house. You can lay it all out first and build the house. The main structure is sort of how you work, but you can change whatever you want within it.
Yeah, definitely.
But you can't build it if there's no foundations there. So I think just put the foundations out for any little extra things you want to do. Using your time productively. I guess that is the bottom line.
Yeah, don't sleep on yourself.
Literally that.
I keep saying that, but don't. That's my number one saying at the minute.
Literally, right. The last question is from Otto Johnson. And he has said, what to do when you hit a creative block? I guess, could this apply with you? Do you have any sort of...
What I tell all my clients when they come to me with this is take a week off, which is so counterproductive logically. But if you are stuck, staying stuck is not going to help you get out of being stuck. Yeah. You have to do something. You have to make movements. You have to, whether that's going to the gym, whether that's taking a few days off with your friends, take some time away from the business, because right now you're in stagnant energy and you're just going to stay there. If you keep you're literally banging your head against these breeze blocks if you keep trying. And I've had so many clients come to me with this because, they're all entrepreneurs. We all get it. I promise you, we all get it. It happens. We're creative people. We've been doing it for so long. All of a sudden it's take some time away, and what you will then do is you will kind of move into alignment with your soul, which sounds really cheesy, but it's true. You're going to return to the fun of life. So you're going to spend more time with friends. You're going to see your godchildren. You're going to go out with your boyfriend, girlfriend. You're going to start feeling happy, fulfilled. Then you can be like, oh, okay, now I know what I want to do. One of the biggest things for me is change your environment. Change your environment. Go down to London. Go up to Newcastle. We live in the best place in the UK. We have so many amazing places around us. We have Spain 2 hours away. I know it's hard if you haven't got the money, but we have the Alps, we have Germany, we have so many places.
Lots of options. Yeah.
Lots of options. And even if you don't have the money, you can go to your local reservoir, go climb a mountain. You can just do something and change your environment. Because when you change your environment, the way you see things change. And all of a sudden, you're not sat in your office trying to write or trying to do this video or trying to make this song or whatever it is. You've open yourself up to new ideas and new inspirations. You have to go outside and get inspired if you're in that stagnant energy.
I think literally that. I think you've hit the nail on the head. Is change the environment you're in. So it's literally that. I can't really. You pretty much summarised it.
How much better did you feel when you come back from Bali this year? Because I know when I spent a lot of January in Egypt, and when I come back, I was like, whoa! I've got all these ideas.
Yeah, you just refreshed. I think you have time out, and when you're in that different environment, don't do anything work related.
No.
Don't answer. Don't check your WhatsApp. Don't check your Facebook messages. No, but I didn't as well while I was away. But what I'm saying is, if you're in that much of a creative rut and you can only say take a day away, take 2 days away, then literally just don't do anything work related. No. Don't think about it for at least a day.
Fire with fire.
At least a day. And obviously I can understand it can be hard if you've got deadlines, and sometimes I've had to do it. You just have to power through. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, then the work's never that great, so it's sort of okay, well, do you just take that extra day and come back and know the work's going to be better, or do you just power through and it's probably going to take about the same amount of time? But yeah, I think you've hit the nail on the head. Literally just change your environment and just zone out for a bit. But changing your environment is go outside,
go to the gym,
it's the best thing. Just go out. I think being outside is a massive help as well. It's
everything. I love it.
Taking a break it's very underestimated.
I think as well, it's like water pressure. If you imagine there's this little hole and the water pressure's building up, you can keep trying to push it back down all you want, but eventually it's just going to explode. Yeah. So you can either create an outlet yourself, or you can wait till you explode. Yeah,
I think that's a perfect summary of that. Well, I'd like to wrap that there.
Okay. Thank you for having me.
No, thank you.
I really enjoyed it.
Thank you for coming down.
Thank you for my sandwich.
It's okay. I think it's been quite nice to go into saying we sort of spoke about a wide variety of subjects. So hopefully everyone listening or watching will be able to take something from.
I think it's good that we've both spoken about this outside of podcast time. Last year, we spoke about this a lot, helping each other out ourselves. Yeah. So I think to actually bring it into a podcast and not have it be about videography, or not have it be about mindset and business, and have it to be about something that we've both helped each other manage in the past. I think that's been really important.
Yeah, exactly. I think because we're talking from personal experiences within all the different subjects and work-life balance, I think hopefully you guys at home will be able to take some good knowledge from it. So before we wrap up, throw all your socials out there. Anything you want to plug?
Okay. So
fire away.
So you can find me at Lydia Killian Irving. That's LYDIAKILLIONIRVING, because I'm double-barreled.
Links will be in the description.
They will be in the description, but I'm just going to spell it out for you anyway. You'll find me on, I don't really use Facebook that much anymore. It's mainly my Instagram content, if I'm honest. But if you are a Facebook bunny, I'm on there. Instagram is my main thing now. YouTube, I'm getting on there. And youngfreeandflying.com is where you will find my blog posts. It's where you'll find the videos, my interview videos. It's where you'll find all the free resources that I create to help you with your mindset and grow your business. And if you want to be featured for Young Free and Fly, and you think you've got a really cool business that I need to showcase to the world, then you can also get in touch with me on there, and I will interview you, and it'll be great. So yeah.
Brilliant. Well, thank you once again for coming on.
You're so welcome.
Loved with the podcast. It's been a really good convo. I'm really happy with today's podcast. Don't forget, guys, subscribe to the podcast on whatever your streaming platform is, whether that's Spotify, Apple Music, or YouTube. Give it a review as well. It honestly really does help.
5 star.
Yeah, throw the 5 stars out there. Thanks again, guys, and I will see you next time.